What is up, guys? Hurricane Liz here, and we're back with the top 5 hot niches of the week. So I know it's been an off week, but this week, I'm telling you, things are heating up, particularly with two really important holidays that I've been talking about over and over again. And you guys are going to be shocked at how things are already selling. That and a bunch of surprises. So you better watch through, you better watch all the way, and you're going to find out exactly what's fire this week and right now only. So without further ado, let's jump into that top and hot 5 of the week. I'm super pumped. I hope you're super pumped. Let's go ahead and dive straight in. All right, so we're here on my desktop, and as usual, let's go ahead and jump into the hot new 5 releases on KDP. So I'm going to jump into hot new releases. You guys know my actual thing. And again, as usual, I'm going to deep dive, but it has been a while since I kind of looked at the broader spectrum. So let me just change my mind and let's go ahead and jump into a more thorough analysis. So I'm going to hit children's books, and I'm going to look through children's books because I'm actually already seeing some pretty interesting ones. Here's a dragon one, as we've been talking about, like dragons are hot and fire. And I'm going to just scroll through these pretty quick, and then I'll kind of jump back into the new releases. But I'm not really seeing much. We've seen this owl on multiple occasions, and unicorns and all things like that. So that's not surprising whatsoever. This is kind of The Office, A Day at Mifflin Elementary. I don't know if that's kind of like a spoof or a parody for kids on the show The Office, which it kind of looks like it can be. So that's kind of interesting. We talked about Bad Guy a long time, as well as the theme of classmates. So I see that a lot here. And again, bedtime stories, those are actually like so crazy popular, and we called it a long time ago. And here's interesting, a voting one, which we kind of talked about would be popular as well a long time ago. But a lot of dragons, a lot of things like that. And let's go to page 2, and then if not, again, we're going to jump into activity books, which is our usual. Again, villains, no surprise, dragons all over the place. Either one of those two, you kind of almost have to have a book that's either one of those. And then a lot of like, here's a really cool one right now, Willy the Silly Panda. And while it's just like a panda with a name, as I talked before, animals with names, it's a Kindle book. So it has not been made into an activity book or anything like that. But we've got scissor skills. We got that damn dog Bluey. I don't want to talk about that guy anymore. He's kind of up to here with him, and that's pretty much the gist of what I'm seeing here. Not really much new. Here's Barack Obama, which kind of fits along the lines with the vote thing, and Billy the Fluffy Bunny. So again, another theme, animal name with an animal that seems to be going pretty well for whoever's doing this, and more than likely it's the same person that's doing the panda one. So jumping into children's activity books, this is where we want to be. Again, dragons, fire, we don't have to even say that again, nothing brand new. I'm going to try to pull 5, but really the way that I'm seeing it, I'm going to really have to deep dive to even pull them if possible. But for sure, I'm going to get you guys at least 3 that I see that have popped up recently. Here's One Black Cat. Once again, Halloween is hot. I don't have to say it again and again, but I will just for those people that are brand new. If you have not made a Halloween book, number 1 right now to make is Halloween book. So I'm going to throw it in there anyways, but I've spoken about it time and time again. Halloween is crazy popular right now, so you will definitely want to do that one. And other than that, for some reason right now, Peanuts in the whole Charlie Brown theme is really hot, but we can't do anything with it, right? It's an actual trademark product, a trademark brand, a trademark creation, and so you should not technically do anything with that. Will people still do it? Absolutely, because people are out there always trying to game the system. Here's an interesting, funny summer jokes for kids. And Peanuts again. So there must be something going on, and you can kind of clearly see a theme with Peanuts right now. Here's an interesting one. I'm going to see if there's anything similar to this, but I think in a point where kids are going back to school, they're going to need some kind of affirmations. And I will say this much, there is a person that is making affirmations books on Audibles and crushing it. He has hundreds and hundreds of them, and they always sell extremely well. So one for children, this is kind of like an honorary mention. I'm not going to say that it's a definitive one yet or hot niche of the week, but if I was actually somebody out there creating a ton of these books, I think an affirmations books for kids or a series of them would be fire. So it's my actual chart of top 5. I'm going to throw that on there. And especially at a time right now when kids are going back to school or about to go back to school, and who knows what the school culture is going to be when they get there, especially after all coronavirus. I mean, bullying could be at its all-time highest. We don't know what's going to happen. So I'm going to toss that in there as number 2, and that's affirmations for kids. And also kind of like this one, going on the theme of being different in school, an alien joined my class, which was actually one of our top 5 niches, I want to say weeks and weeks ago. But again, it just goes to show that a lot of these things actually never expire. Like a lot of these things are good from now on till the end of time because people are recreating them. They see that they're hot, they see people are buying them, and so they're still very popular. Here's one like picnicking over the summer. That's probably pretty important. And as we talked about before, here's again the haunted house one, which is already kind of doing extremely well. And scissor skills for toddlers specifically, we saw the last time. Card Sharks, math games for kids. Now the thing I like about this book is I'm not going to put it on my chart, but I do like the way that they themed it. They made it a math book for kids, which can usually be pretty boring. I mean, most kids don't like the idea of doing math at all. But when you put in a theme like sharks and cards, now you got kids' attentions. Because I can remember as a kid, I always was like, wow, I really want to play cards. And the idea of a shark, I mean, there's a whole week themed on sharks, right? So why not? Cards and sharks go good together. That's kind of how I would be thinking when I make these actual books. And so again, another Peanuts book, which again is kind of interesting. Like I said, there's something going on with Charlie Brown. And here's again another math book. So this is enough to put it on my list. It's going to come in at number 3, I think, and I lost track. But again, I'm not sure where my mind's been lately. I've had a lot of shit on my mind. So I know that I think we're at number 3, which I think is good enough. And that is math books for kids, cleverly disguised as really fun books. We saw the Card Sharks, and now we're seeing another one, which is the unofficial math adventures for Harry Potter. Like, I mean, I saw all the Harry Potter movies, as did most of you probably, right? And never once did I see those freaking kids do math. They did stupid shit like play with funny creatures and do challenges. I don't know, whatever that wizard's cup was. And they attacked people and they attacked dementors or whatever the hell they were called. And they did all sorts of shit with their wand and brooms and balls and all sorts of crap like that. Little snitches and stuff like that. And remember, snitches get stitches, but that's a whole other topic. With Harry Potter, this is cleverly disguised as a math book. And again, like I said, these wizards never did freaking math. They drank beer. They drank butterbeer. That's all they really did. Never a single math thing, but they capitalized upon the fact that Harry Potter is hot, and so they mixed it with math so that kids want to do it. So yeah, you might be saying like, Liz, I didn't write Harry Potter, I can't write that shit, or I didn't write it, so I can't make a book about it. But you could do something very similar, like witches do math. Or I'm kind of just making this up as I go, but think of a theme that's somehow coming up like Halloween and make it cool for kids to want to do math. And then you've got yourself a hot seller, especially when parents see it and kids want to do the math. They're going to be excited at the fact that they can even get their fucking kid to do math, that they will gladly buy your book. So that's the name of the game here, is create something, not just a plain old math book for kids who want to do math. Because no kid in their right mind wants to do math, right? I can tell you from experience, I remember when I was a kid, I did not want to do math. So let's go ahead and deep dive even further. We're going to go ahead and jump this time into crafts and hobbies. We're going to skip activity books this time, and we're going to go straight to crafts and hobbies. We've got 3 so far. We're going to go ahead and find 4 and 5, potentially. We got Birds of Texas. That's pretty interesting. Scissor skills. SpongeBob, of course, he's always going to be exciting and hot, primarily because he's got a good best friend like Patrick. And let's face it, Squidward, he's a super delicious little guy. When you fry him up, you batter him up, and you throw him in with some aioli sauce or whatever the hell they call it. Squidward is quite delicious. Let's see what else we've got. Handbag, that's in a wrong section. Think Brave. A lot of people I see notice have been putting these in the wrong sections. I'm going to ignore those, obviously. Now, this is super interesting. I think this is kind of like funny, but it's not selling too well. But the I Pooped Bathroom Guest Book. And I think I talked about this on another video, and I was like, who in their right mind would put this shit in their house or apartment? But as you can see, people are doing it. So it's definitely one to pay close attention to. And here's another one. I think this proves that this is potentially a pretty hot niche, and that's this Birds in Georgia, or Birds of Georgia Kids Guide. So people might wonder, like, these are just fun facts, Liz, and they're about birds. How the hell can you put this into activity book or coloring book? Well, it's simple. It doesn't have to be Birds of Georgia. It could be something else, right? We've already established that kids love sharks, but think about what other animals kids do, and it could be the sharks of North America, or the sharks of Hawaii, or something like that. And I know, again, I'm just making this up off the top of my head, but think of any one regional creature or regional thing. It could be the dinosaurs of the prehistoric era, something like that. think outside the box and think of certain creatures that existed in a certain period of time and make them into a coloring book, because now you've got yourself a series of things you can do, just like this Birds of Texas and Birds of Georgia. Since Birds of Texas will sell well, any bird fan might buy every single state. So same thing with your dinosaurs. If you can come up with enough dinosaurs, then you go next to the freaking reptiles of the fucking prehistoric era and so forth. And now you've got a series of books that fans of dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures will buy all of your actual books. So that is number 4. And I don't even know what to call it, but I can just tell you that I see these actual patterns happening and how they kind of can work and how you can use them to your advantage. So again, a couple interesting journals have popped up, this panda one. So right now pandas are hot. So we could very well put pandas at number 5 here and say pandas are hot, or it could be an honorary mention. Anything with pandas right now for some reason is and or seems to be popular and seems to be landing on this actual top new releases book. Let's see, now we're on page 2, and then after that we'll see what else we find. But other than that, I think we've got a pretty good amount of books. Here is a reindeer book, so I'm going to throw that on there because I already think it's going to be fire, or at least if it not already is. I'm going to toss in Christmas books, specifically reindeers, because I really think that you can capitalize on the fact that people love reindeers. I personally had an addiction with Rudolph for the longest time. I was obsessed with this little guy and his red nose and how people picked on him and shit. And eventually he overcame all that and he became Santa's main reindeer. And hell, he's hell of cute. That's why I was buying all this shit and collecting it and thinking at some point in time it might be worth something. Remind me, guys, to one day show you some things from that actual collection, because I'm not joking about that. I was actually obsessed with one of the toys that they used to actually make. It was an actual toy that they made of that. And then there's this stoner thing, which I think is kind of interesting considering it's in the kids thing. But I think we've already got 5, but I'm still going to round it up and take a look at what else I see here and see if anything else pops up. But again, witches, not a surprise. But unicorns, things of that nature. We talked about this tattoo last one, and now Bluey has 3 freaking friends, and they're probably just as much a rip-off artist as he is. Again, Blue's Clues, the original. I got to bow down to the original and give him props. But I know you guys like hearing me give Bluey shit. Here is an interesting one. These show how guides, 20 essential knots and friendship bracelets. But this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about series of books. Now, in this case, it's not a bird, it's not a dinosaur, it's not anything of that nature. Instead, it's knots and bracelets. But you see now how they can make a line of about 20 or 30 of these, or they can keep going. So my advice to you guys is find something that you can make a line in a series of books and keep going, because people that buy one will more than likely buy more of them, especially if they enjoyed the first. So put all your effort, energy, and attention to number 1, and then you'll probably get multiple sales from that first one. And that's pretty much it for this video. That wraps it up. Hopefully you guys found something out there that you want to do, and I will see you next week with some more top 5 niches of the week. Other than that, put questions and comments below. I always personally answer them, and I'll see you on the next video.